11th game of the 2013 Greendale Panther football season. This game also represents the second round of the WIAA State Playoffs as the number 1 seeded Greendale Panthers travel to Brown Deer to take on the number 5 seeded Brown Deer Falcons. These teams have played each other a few weeks ago, of which Greendale came out on top by a score of 47-14. It also looks like it's going to be a cold and wet night, not to mention a little muddy, so we will see how this will affect both teams tonight. Greendale won the toss and elected to receive first to start the game. After the return, they would start from their 31. They immediately started out with their running game to test the front line of the Brown Deer Falcons. The weather was also an issue, so they wanted to see if they could keep drives going by way of their running attack. 6 plays later, they figured they had the Falcons worried enough about their running game, so that's when they took to the air. This is when quarterback Josh Ringelberg found Mitchell Breeze on a short stop route in the right flat. When you talk about Breeze, you have to mention his uncanny ability to get yards after the catch, which is what he did as he avoided 2 tacklers before heading north at a high rate of speed, completing a 50-yard scoring play. Kicker Frank Urakowski would make his kick, making his score 7-0 with 9:31 left in the opening quarter to play. Urakowski would reach the end zone on the ensuing kick, forcing Brown Deer to start from their 20. They would run 5 plays together, taking the ball all the way to the Panther 45 before having to punt the ball away. After a nice kick, Greendale would have to start from their 10. They would put a 12-play drive together, but failed to get it in the end zone on 3rd down, so they had to settle for a 21-yard Urakowski field goal, which was good, making the score 10-0 with 2:32 left in the first quarter. The Falcons would have to start from their 20 once again, compliments of Urakowski's kick. This time they would have to punt going 3 and out as they failed to get a yard in the series. After the kick, Greendale would be starting from their 45. They too would have to punt as they went 3 and out as well. After a great kick, Brown Deer would have to start from their 9. Panthers defense was now flying around like a squadron of F-15 fighters. They forced the Falcons to have to punt from their own end zone as they went 3 and out. This time Greendale found themselves starting with a short field as they started on the Brown Deer 40. 3 plays later, Ringelberg hooked up with Nate Miller over the middle for a 20-yard scoring toss. Urakowski would make his kick, making his score 17-0 with 10:03 now left in the second quarter. After another end zone shot, Brown Deer quarterback Zach Vaughn would have to set his offense up on their 20. This time he would get his team to the Panther 48 before being forced to kick the ball away. After a fair catch, Greendale would be starting from deep in a hole at their 9. 9 plays later, Greendale found themselves looking at a 1st and goal from the 1. All of a sudden, penalty flags started to fly. Greendale had 2 motion penalties backing them up 10 yards. Then it looked like they scored, but there was a holding penalty on the play, so that was brought back too. Greendale was now on the 26 and tried 2 more plays before turning the ball over on downs. The Falcons now had possession of the ball. 2 plays later, Panther defensive back Brandon Cook intercepted a pass and returned it to the Brown Deer 25. With 35 seconds left in the half, Greendale would see if they could punch one in before the half would end. They got off 3 plays before the clock finally ran out. The Falcons would get the ball first to start the second half. After the kick, they would begin from their 32. They were quickly forced to punt as they went 3 and out. After the kick, Greendale would start their first drive of the half from their 32. 3 plays later, Ringelberg fumbled, giving the ball back to Brown Deer on the Panther 30. Again, the swarming Panther D forced them to turn the ball over and downs on their 25. On this possession, the Panthers put a 10-play drive together, but they ended up looking at a 3rd and very long situation after an offensive pass interference penalty was called. Instead of running a play, Ringelberg would pull off a pooch punt, which turned out to be perfect as the ball was down on the Brown Deer 2. The way the Panthers defense was playing, the Falcons needed to be careful down here. They did manage to work the ball out to the Panthers 46 before having to line up for a punt. On the play, Vaughn, who lines up as a blocking back, took a direct snap and tried running to his left for the fake. The quick Panther defense was there, however, to stop him, taking possession of the ball on their 46. 11 plays later, behind a huge push of his offensive line, Ringelberg crossed the goal line from 1 yard out for the touchdown. Urakowski split the uprights, making his score 24-0 with 7:59 now left in the game. After a nice return by Vaughn, the Falcons would be starting from their 40. They took the ball into the Panthers' side of the field in 5 plays, but Greendale's defense eventually slammed the door, forcing them to turn the ball over on downs on the 20-yard line. 5 plays later, Ringelberg would seal the deal with a nice pass to Miller, who then bulldozed his way in from 22 yards out. The point after try was good, making the score 31-0 with 3:46 left in the game. After the ensuing kick, Brown Deer would start from their 20. The ever-present Panther defense forced the Falcons to punt for their 6th time in the game as they went 3 and out. Panthers now came out to try to run the clock out. They would be starting from their 25. On their 3rd play, they ended up bumping the ball on their 28, giving the ball back to Brown Deer for one last chance to avoid the shutout. They would be starting from their 28. That didn't happen as Greendale's stingy defense prevented them from reaching the end zone as the game finally came to an end. The final score would be Greendale 31, Brown Deer nothing. The Panthers managed to shut down one of the state's better quarterbacks in Zach Vaughn, holding him to just 114 yards through the air and kept him under 100 yards on the ground. Greendale, on the other hand, amassed 473 yards of total offense, which 270 of one came through the air. Ringelberg finished the night going 13 for 20 for a 65% pass completion, while Panther running back Jake Zwicki finished the night with 193 yards in 35 carries. Greendale will remain undefeated and will now move on to round 3 of the WIAA state playoffs. They will host the number 2 seeded Plymouth Panthers next week, who are coming in with a 10-1 record for the year. They just defeated the Wisconsin Lutheran Vikings last week by a score of 21-7. Not only do these two teams share the same mascot, they also run the same style of offense, so things will definitely be interesting coming this Friday night. The game is at Greendale and will start at 7 o'clock. Hope to see you all there. So long.